Hi, I'm Taylor, and this is my story about how I fell head over heels for a pretty famous influencer, even though I was only 12 years old at the time. I come from a relatively wealthy family, and when I was 12, my dad surprised us all by buying a house in Los Angeles. He traveled a lot for business, and he thought he'd buy this house so we could all move there. But we didn't move there. Instead, we'd go there during vacation time. So, one summer vacation when I was 12, I was shopping with my mom in LA and we bumped into a friend of hers. She couldn't stop staring at me and kept saying I was so gorgeous and that I could be a model. Then she put us in touch with her friend who got me a modeling gig. All I had to do was get some photos taken in the studio for stock images. I looked around me and couldn't believe how many beautiful people were there. Everyone was so experienced. Afterwards, I was hanging out in the cafeteria with some other models, and that's when I met him. Please call him A. He was a public influencer who was also in a photo shoot. He was sitting at our table and we started chatting. Then we exchanged Instagram accounts. I had no idea who he was until I connected with him on Instagram. He had like millions of followers and he was so cute. Why was he interested in talking to me, I wondered. Anyway, he sent me a DM one day asking if I wanted to hang out, and seeing as my dad was super busy with work and my mom was back home in San Francisco, I didn't think it'd be a problem. I was pretty bored as my brother was only interested in playing video games, so meeting this guy was like a dream come true. One time, I went over to his apartment where he lives with his brother, and I know what you're probably thinking, but no, it wasn't like that. We just had fun hanging out as friends. Pretty soon, I was flying with my dad to LA all the time. He hated staying there alone, so I always jumped at the chance to go with him, and I'd always go hang out with A. My parents knew, and they didn't mind. They trusted me. This kept on happening until the summer break when I turned 13. But then, something happened. Suddenly, I realized I had a huge crush on him, and believe it or not, he liked me too. It honestly felt too good to be true, but there was just one problem. We had a 10-year age gap, but that shouldn't matter, right? I mean, my mom and dad have a 9-year age difference, so it'd just be hypocritical if they complained. So we started dating. At first, we just held hands and stuff, but then my dad suggested we invite him and his family over for dinner. My dad made the most incredible meal, and I had to keep pinching myself that this was actually happening. Obviously, he told his fans he had a girlfriend, but he never shared any photos of me. It wasn't their business. We kept up the long distance for the next year or so, and I was super paranoid he'd dump me for someone else. I was hopelessly in love with him, and no one knew about us except our families. Back in San Fran, I was a bit of a loner, and I didn't have many friends. But as soon as I got to LA, I was like a different person. Outgoing, bubbly, and with a gorgeous boyfriend holding my hand. He was so protective of me, and I loved it. I wished he would come to San Fran so I could surprise everyone at school with my famous boyfriend. Now I'm 14, and I just spent the most incredible summer with him and his brother. We mostly just held hands, but we also shared a kiss. My first kiss! The day before I was due to leave, he told me how much he hates the distance between us. I started freaking out. I was so scared he'd break up with me, but instead, something insane happened. He proposed to me! I kept staring at the white sapphire, totally shocked. I suddenly felt so stressed out. I mean, I was only 14 years old. What was I supposed to do? I didn't even respond to him. That's how shocked I was. Before I left for the airport, he whispered, "I love you," into my ear, and then kissed my cheek. I felt like I was floating on cloud 9 the whole flight. I don't know what to do. If I'd said no, would he have broken up with me? For a few weeks, I ignored his texts and calls, but he didn't give up. He eventually called my brother, and then we talked things over. And I finally said yes! So, as of right now, we're engaged. No one knows, except for us, but I so badly want to tell someone. What would you do if you were me? Do you think I'm too young? I love him so much, but I'm just worried about the distance. So now, I need your help.